Welcome to the second Ask a Tyrant special edition. The reason for this special edition is because I've been told some things what I actually have to answer. The reason being that no one seems to have an answer for this one yet, and I think I do because I've been there and done it, and it's not like it is in the movies. It's called the grandfather paradox. For all of you who don't know who the grandfather paradox is, that is a so-called theory that if you go back in time and kill your own grandfather, then you basically wouldn't be born to go back in time to kill your own grandfather, so you wouldn't be able to go back in time. Well, I've tried it. They're lying. They've got it all wrong. The bloody universe is a bastard. I'm not kidding. I went back in time, okay, and I basically, I didn't want to do the grandfather one, so I tried to do it to myself, you know. Well, when I went back in time, I saw myself as a tyrant, and I was like, who does me as tyrant? And I basically walked up to myself, and I was like, hey, isn't that me? And I was like, yes, I am you, and we started talking. Anyway, one thing led to another, and I pulled out a knife, and I stabbed him through the heart. Well, it turned out that he died, but then he was revived back to life, yes. Then he was brought back on the operating table, and I thought to myself, you know, yeah, I just tried to kill myself, but I died, but I came back, proving the fact that I died and I'm still alive. And the scar, which I always wondered why I had, it's called a birthmark, but I wondered. So I tried some other things. I thought, okay, we can't just prove it via attempting that. We have to try and change some history. So I stopped my father from actually being able to give birth to me by basically cutting off his testicles, but it wasn't pretty. It turns out he's not my father. No. It's some Russian man. They had a voice very much like mine. I was very disappointed. I thought if I went back, then I wouldn't be able to do it, but no. It moved on. He turned out not to be my father. You can't beat history. No matter what, you go back in time and try to change history or screw it around. They say the grandfather paradox works, but it doesn't really, because you don't know history. You only know what you think you know, and history knows the rest. So it goes a case of, you go back in time, you kill your father, you find out your father isn't really your father, you were born because of that whole situation, and you caused yourself to be born via doing all that you don't know, but people say don't mess with time travel. I tried it, and it turned out that everything I tried to do to kill myself, I was either revived, brought back, stopped myself by having to go back and stopping myself to find out that stopping myself would cause it to change. But all it caused me to do is get aggravated in myself and stab myself again to where I come back in the operating table, and originally went back in time to stop myself from stabbing myself, which turned out to just aggravate the one that got stabbed more, to stab me with a knife he didn't even have. And I was standing there, I was bleeding, and like I died, and I came back. And I was pissed, you know, because I thought, who the hell are you stabbing? So you know what I did? You won't ever guess what I did. I'll tell you what I did, but I'm not going to tell you, but I will. What I did was I went back in time and stabbed myself, because I wasn't letting myself be stabbed and suffering that, you know. So because I stabbed myself, I was like, what the hell, no way, you're doing that to me and getting away with it. So I went back and I basically stabbed myself. And that caused the entire event. It was like a triangle that goes up and down in a straight line. As it was like a circle, which is not a sphere. You cannot destroy history. If you go back in time and destroy a famous writer from writing something, it'll turn out to be someone else that wrote it, and he stole the credit. And because you killed that guy, he got the credit. You really can't defy it. History is magnificent. It basically makes us what we are. And you know, I thought I would explain this paradox to you in this most sensible way, rather than these philosopher idiots that believe you can't go back in time to do something like that because of paradox. There's no paradox really at all. If there was a paradox, I've never met him, and in all we went side on, there was nothing. So this special edition, what it is actually, is only to let you know that going back in time is safe. Okay, that's all for this. Tune in next time for Ask a Tyrant, when I'm actually going to be answering some questions. I'm not going to just be sitting here doing the whole blah 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 thing. I'll be answering some questions, and hopefully I'll be asked a question which will not entitle where I go on holiday, or what I do on holiday, or where holidays involve us, or what I do if I go back in time. But that answers a question that was asked to me by Dave Hemmingen, who is from Canberra, and I was like, no, but I didn't really understand a word he said. I'm going to play some Hiko now. Goodbye.